All right. I was getting ready to watch something. I don't even remember exactly what I was about to watch, but this song ended up popping up. I guess it's a sponsor song, for women and everything, by the High Women, called "Redesigning Women," and it's I guess, their official music video. Well, started thinking about it, going back over how I grew up, how I was raised by my mom and my grandmother, two extremely strong women who let nothing ever stand in their way, stop them from doing anything. And thinking back of how, as I said, how I was raised. I mean, I'm 6'1", 260, so I'm a big guy now through, of course, years of training, the military, things like that, but starting off, I was a little kid. I was a small kid. I'm bigger, taller than my older brother and everything. But as I said, going back to when I was a kid, I was a little kid, 2 years younger than my older brother. And he was a bigger kid, him and his friends, bigger kids. And as I said, I'm looking at this video. What? Oh my God. But anyway, in the video, they're fire women, these two little women that would never be able to make it as fire persons, regardless. The women I've personally known, either that I've grown up with or I know personally, that are police officers, military, Army, Marines, paramedics, fire department. They're not exact, they may be small as in short, but the women are strong as hell, and they earned their right to get there. Even though they could have done the women's, I think all that stuff has now changed, but at the time they could have done the women's push-ups, the women's sit-ups and things. When I was in basic, just going through basic, there were those hardcore girls who didn't do the different, I'm not going to do the being on my knees push-ups. I'm doing the man's push-ups. I'm doing the man's sit-ups. Man, we respected the hell out of those women. The reason why is because there were men, boys, that couldn't do those push-ups, those sit-ups, the run. So as I said, I was watching this video and I got like maybe a minute and a half into it, 2 minutes into it. And there is no difference. There's nothing out there that says a woman can't do what a man can do, period. My mom was literally one of the strongest, except for, of course, her mom, grandma, were the strongest women I knew. I mean, my grandma, and I've said this before in another video, birthed and raised 9 kids in Northern Virginia on a farm, and she still was working the farm and working. And, and I'm like, man, this woman, birthed and raised 9 kids. And as far as, in Dahlgren, Virginia, I don't know about now, but back then it was like midwives and stuff. So it wasn't going to the hospital, getting drugged up and everything else. This was straight natural childbirth, 9 kids. And still was out there working the farm like the next day and shit. The grandma would tell these stories because we were boys. And grandma would be like, because we spent summers at grandma's farm, get your asses out there. It's like I was out there in the farm pregnant, working the farm before like the day before giving birth, kind of thing. So it's like, we didn't get special treatment because we were boys, at least not me. And I understand when people go, well, Mark, that was your life. No, I lived in the real world. You people that grew up or raising your kids being pansy asses, protecting them, this is on you. This isn't on society, because society is the real world. So this is on you if you're raising your kid that way, or if you were raised that way. That's on your parents or on you. Most of the choices I've made in my life that I could directly influence, especially when I got to the age to be able to stand up to my parents to directly influence my life, I made those choices. When I was questioning, because, of course, when I was a kid, I was forced to go to church. But when I got around the age of 13 and, could walk around the neighborhood growing up in Norfolk, in the neighborhood I grew up in, there were churches everywhere. And me personally, I went to those churches. I asked questions. And I understand when people try to say, well, Mark, that's you. You have that gumption. You have that heart. You have that know-how. And it's like, I was a kid. I didn't have the know-how. That's why I was asking questions, idiot. But you still had the strength. Oh, come on. Please don't give me that shit. Stop with that mess. Unless you are literally locked in a closet like Harry Potter or something, to where you are completely sheltered. You are at school, unless you're homeschooled, I guess. But if you are out there in the world, have some damn balls and ask your own questions. Do your own things. Stand up to your parents as far as, I want to learn this. I want to see this. I want to, but you also need to realize the real world. Why do you think suicide rates among the young is really extremely high? It's because these young people are sheltered. I watch all of these protests and all this mess going on. Man, when we protested, when I was a kid, even though I couldn't stand smoking because both my parents were chain smokers, when teens could smoke back then, and this was junior high for me. So 1991, 91, 81, 82, we had walkouts. We had sit-ins. We had, peaceful sit-ins, and we had peaceful walkouts. I was among the group, even though I didn't smoke because, couldn't stand it. I thought smoking was stupid. Hold on, I got to get this thing to set again. Okay. But the kids that did smoke walked, as I said, walked out and walked to downtown. Now, if you look at how far, like Granby High School and especially Northside, well, it was junior high at the time, but Northside Middle School to downtown Norfolk, we are talking that's a walk. That's a march. That's miles right there. And we as kids did that because they had changed the laws for smoking, which didn't change anything. But the people, the adults, the city council, and everything, the superintendent and all that stuff came and talked to everybody. And it was a peaceful solution. I led a protest at Northside when it came to boys. We were only allowed to wear shorts in gym class. Girls could wear shorts, but boys, because boys, we were told is boys are rambunctious because y'all wrestle and, play football in the quad and everything else. You're not allowed to wear shorts because, you'll get all skinned up. Now, mind you, there was this girl, Peggy, and there were the other girls that I grew up with. Man, these girls were as tough as the boys. And I'm talking about straight up street fighting, whipping your ass. Oh my God, some of these girls, if you didn't know how to fight because their parents taught them how to fight, or girls I was in martial arts schools with, these girls would whip your ass if you were a boy. Straight up. Didn't matter if you were a boy. If you didn't know how to defend yourself, and these girls did know how to defend themselves, they would whip your ass. Didn't matter how small they were. So they were out, and I'm like, wait a minute. I said, excuse me. Do you not know Peggy and some of these other girls that are out there playing football with us? Not flag football, tag. We're talking tackle football and wrestling with us. I can wrestle. No, get out of here. Of course, when you first start off. But then again, the way I was raised, I never said that because of my grandmother and my mom. who used to be out there playing tactical football with us, playing baseball, t-ball, and all that stuff with us. Our mom did that out there. My mom would beat the shit out of men. As I said, I'm 6'1". This is me when I became an adult. 6'1", and I was what, 180? Around 180, 190 at that time. Athletically muscular. And my mom would beat the hell out of men twice. And my mom was not a big woman. My mom was a little, we're talking, her nickname was Skinny Minnie. For those of you who are my age, who we're talking back in the real roller derby, state back in the 70s, and there was that one black woman named Skinny Minnie that would whip everybody's ass. My mom she was given that nickname by everybody. My mom hung out with the Hells Angels. She hung out with the not so legal cops, let's just say that. And they're the ones who gave her that name. I mean, if I ever, for the cops I did not know, ever got harassed by police, if I ever just dropped my mom's name, it's like, oh, your mom's Mary Brown? Oh, okay, all right, And that was just the way it was. Except for one incident that I'll tell this story another time. But getting back on subject, I'm thinking back to when I was around 7 to 9 years old, somewhere around there. We're at Merrimack Park, which is now Merrimack Landing. It was the naval housing when my dad was still in the Navy. But at the time, he had gotten out. Yeah, he had already gotten out of the Navy, and we had moved into this white neighborhood on East Ocean Avenue. But of course, I still had family that lived there, and godmother and everything else, cousins and stuff that were still there. And getting babysitting by Mrs. Green, she was basically family, and we're out there outside, because as I said, as kids, there was no playing inside. For one, there were no video games back then. So it was get the hell outside. Didn't matter how hot it was. For all you kids today, oh my God, it's so hot, it's 100 degrees. Okay, we also were out there in 100 degrees with asphalt and cement, metal monkey bars, metal slides, the 2-foot tall, two-story tall metal rocket slide that my brother, because there was this whole dare thing that we did as kids, basically come out where the slide is, up the second story, walk on the outside, grabbing onto the bars and walking on the outside. That wasn't just the boys. Girls were doing that too. The girls that like Gaynell Green, my cousin, out there beating the hell out of the boys. She could beat the crap out of my older brother. So as I said, the way we grew up, there was no such thing as, yes, you respect women, you respect girls because we're men, we're boys, and we were raised to be gentlemen. But as far as when it came to physicality, when it came to doing things, there was no difference. Boys or girls, you're out there doing the same damn thing, grabbing and picking up them damn hay bales. Grandma, I'm small. I don't care how small you are. Get out there and pick up that hay bale. I'm telling you, see, when you grow up the way I grew up, and especially growing up country, there's no difference between men and women at all. You're out there still doing the same shit. It's city people that are doing this dumb shit of the differences between boys and girls. The only difference in the country about a boy and a girl is respecting women and treating them with respect. However, unless the way my mom put it, if the bitch acts like a bitch, you treat her like a bitch. That's the way my mom raised me, because she knew, of course, being in the city of Norfolk, that there were these little girls out there that would play so innocent and weak and princessy, but would screw you over in a heartbeat. There were plenty of times that girls would hit me, but because I was raised, my mom is not the one who raised me not to hit a girl back. I just kind of had that on my own. But there would be times after like a while where girls would, hit me or whatever, and I wouldn't hit them back, or whatever. And my mom would basically grab the shit out of me and be like, boy, I didn't raise you that way. It's like, but mom, it's a girl. And the girls in your family will whip your ass. Are you just going to stand there and take it? It's like, but that's not the girls in my family. And my mom had to put it in my head. Did you start it? Did you hit them first? Did you? Like, no, I didn't. Did you instigate it? No. Well, then you defend yourself. If a girl hits you, you hit her back. And there was this girl, Eileen, can't remember her last name right now. Grew up as kids, on East Ocean Avenue. Keith Hobbs should remember, Eileen and her sister. And I was riding a bike and she came up. No, she was riding a bike. I was walking. And I was down by their house, over by Keith Hobbs' house and everything, but a little bit further down by her house. I'm trying to remember where the hell I was coming from. Chris Webber's house, I think. And she rides by on her bike and just punches me. Not even thinking twice. It was literally instinct. I ran, caught her, and just punched her as hard as I could on her back. I don't know if she wrecked or whatever, but she, of course, started crying and everything, and it was down by her house. So I ran home, scared. Of course, tell my mom what happened. And my mom was like, oh, okay, fine. Well, a few minutes later, her dad shows up at the house where your son hit my daughter. My mom gets in his face, holding a butcher knife in her hand, going, from what I heard, your daughter hit my son first. And he goes, well, so? And my mom looked at him like, so that's how you raise your daughters. You're raising your daughters that they could just hit a man just because they feel like it and just get away with it. My mom goes, so if I punch you in the face right now or I stab you with this knife, you just gonna stand there and take it. And he just kind of just walked off the porch. So yeah, this whole bullshit, and it is straight up bullshit, about the differences between men and women. I got a ton of these stories. When I was in martial arts schools, a lot of the women, the instructors were women, and they would whip your ass. Didn't matter if you were a man. This girl that I dated, her dad was one of my instructors, and he wanted us to spar. And I was like, she's smaller than me. And he was like, so get out there. And I'm like, well, I don't want to hurt her or anything. And he just starts laughing. And she beat my ass. Well, I also didn't exactly fight back either. But then again, the meaning was there. That was literally the last time, even though having my mother the way she was, my grandma the way she was, and the way I was raised, and cousins and everything, the female cousins, the way they were, I still had it in my head that, I don't want to hurt somebody or whatever. But it had nothing to do with hurting anyone. It had to do with defending. And so I finally understood. I finally got it. So there have been plenty of times with plenty of fights or things that I've been in that the person happened to be smaller and stupid, because I've never instigated anything. What's the point? As I said, now I'm 6'1", 260. So it's one of those, why do I need to instigate something? And I'm armed, so it's, again, why do I need to instigate something? But I still will defend myself. And so, as I said, again, watching this video about redesigning women, what the hell are you needing to redesign women for? Do y'all not know history? Women were tough as hell back in the day. Women now are weak as shit. Men now are weak as shit. But women back in the day, we're talking going on the trail, going out in the wilderness, women were tough as hell back in the day. So what do you mean redesigning women? That doesn't make any sense to me. Women just need to be women. But as I said before, oh, well, Mark, you're a boy, so you wouldn't understand. I was a small boy when I was growing up. going back to that subject. And all men are not created equal. I don't give a shit what the Constitution says, or whatever the hell that's, all men are created equal. No, they're not. As I said, I'm 6'1", 260. Some 5'2", is equal to me? No. I'm not going to do things that the Mountain, Thor Bjornsson, I'm not going to be able to do the shit. All men are not created equal. But going back to when I was a kid, we're on that playground, as I said, staying with Mrs. Green because, both my parents were working. And they're out there doing follow the leader on the asphalt, concrete, metal, not this padded plastic bullshit you people got today that are weakening, as George Carlin says, the pussification of America. We're out there in the asphalt, concrete, metal, and they're doing follow the leader. And I was like, well, I want to play. And my brother and the guys were laughing like, no, you're too little. And I started crying, and ran to the house, and Miss Green turns around. She goes, get your ass back out there and tell them that you want to play. Now, mind you, it wasn't, I don't know if she meant it as make them play with me. Maybe she did. I'm not really sure. Or earn that right, because she raised her kids the same way my mom raised us. You earn that right. So yeah, I'm pretty sure she meant go and earn the right to play with them. Well, one of the things, I was just following them along, and one of the things they were doing was, doing the whole, kip up jump over this one central fence that split the playground. And, so they're doing the whole hop of the fence thing. And I was a small kid, but I did it. And they were all like, whoa, shit. So I earned the right to play with them. It wasn't just, as I said, when people turn around and go, oh, there's different rights, there's different things for women. Man, if my mom were alive today, oh my God, if my mom were alive today, that woman would run for president or something. And we're talking white supremacists, and everybody would be voting for my mom. Guarantee it. Not going to get into why I guarantee it, but I guarantee it. Because most of the white supremacists I knew growing up had nothing to do with hating minorities, hating Black people or anything. It had to do literally with white pride. That's literally all it had to do with, especially when you had, the whole civil rights thing and affirmative action and all this other stuff. It was like, oh, so they get to get free stuff. And yes, see, reparations happened years ago. So for all you straight up niggas that are talking about reparations, shut the hell up. That stuff happened long before I was born, and definitely because y'all are the age of my kids, long before you were born. So you are owed nothing. Nothing is standing in your way. Nothing has ever stood in my way to be where I'm at. Nothing that I couldn't fight for or claw or, earn the way there. If my mom were alive today, oh my God, I'd be like, Mom, you need to run for president, straight up. And as I've said in many videos on Facebook, and I think in my other video here, if y'all think Donald Trump is bad, my mom is 1,000 times worse. I grew up on the East Coast, Donald Trump, New Yorker, where that was our way of life. The game Your Mama, the game Dozens, that was a way of life. Sticks and Stones, that was a way of life. Handle your business. Don't be beating around the bush. Say what the hell you got to say and move on. Chop, chop, move on. That's the East. That was, sorry, because now it's a bunch of liberal democrat idiots running Virginia now. It's all stupid as hell now, weak as hell now. But growing up, no. Everybody spoke their mind. And trust me, at the wake for my mom, all the stories that were told about my mom were, man, that woman would straight up She didn't give a fuck who you were. She straight up told you what she thought of you. She straight up told you to your face what she thought of the situation. My mom would curse everyone out, period. She didn't give a damn who you were, the cops, anybody. My mom would be in your face going, what the hell are you gonna do? Hit me. And my mom would be, as I said, there was 21, my birthday. My mom took me out for my 21st birthday. And this drunk black guy, big black guy, as I said, he was twice my size, basically grabbed my mom's ass. I went to go after him. Ooh. My mom beat the shit. My mom carried her straight razor, her switchblade, and her gun in her purse. And my mom didn't go for either of those. She beat the shit out of this man that was twice my size. And I was what, 2-3 times the size of my mom. My mom was a little woman and she beat the hell out of this man. When as I said, my mom knew all the cops. They kept trying to get my mom to join the police force. That's how badass my mom was. Mary Brown, you need to join the police force. My mom's like, nah. My mom was like, I'd be arresting everybody. Shit. But when the cops showed up, they were like, oh, we should have realized Mary Brown was involved. Y'all should have said it was Mary Brown that was involved, you know? Shit. They didn't even bother arresting the guy. It was like, because she whipped his ass. So they didn't even arrest the guy because he got enough punishment from getting his ass whipped. So this inequality of women to men, there's no equality for men either. I went to school with some of the weakest. When I was at Granby High School, it was the governor's son went to Granby High School. Little tiny ass nerdy, skinny, backpack, thick glasses, and he would, just walk like this, didn't talk to anybody, just walk like this. And that was the governor's son. And he was a weak ass little boy. But men are all treated equal, right? No, they're not. For one, I'm seriously trying to understand why nobody has pointed this shit out. There's pretty much 3 to 4 things of how men are treated. You're either going to be treated special. You're either going to be treated special because of your size. Like my son. My son was always big. When he was able to finally play Pee Wee League football, him and one of his friends were known as the Bruiser Brothers because everyone their age, because this is El Paso, a lot of Mexicans and they're pretty much small, except for his friend. Now, my son being half Mexican, but then again, getting size and power and everything from me, him and his friend who was full-blood Mexican were huge. We had to literally, and I mean, we're talking people tried suing us. The other parents tried suing us from the other teams. There's no way he's 11 years old. There's no way they're 11 years old. They are too big. His birth certificate's right here, and it's a military birth certificate, so it sure as hell ain't fake, because I ain't going to federal prison faking something like that. So, yeah, that's how old he is. And they're all like, it's like, genetics, bitch. Do you not know what genetics are? Man, just stupid people. So again, no, not all people are created equal. My friend, roommate, caretaker, B, is a girl, straight up. But she will whip male and female ass. But she's a girl. So again, where is this inequality of the men to, oh my God, we got to change things to help women? As I said, if my mom were alive today, man, even if she were to not run for president, I see something as far as Donald Trump or somebody making her, you need to run with me, be my vice president. But as I said before, if y'all think Donald Trump is bad as far as the way he speaks, my mom is 1,000 times worse than Donald Trump, easily. And my mom didn't give a damn about your fucking feelings. Donald Trump has more of a filter than you think. As I said, because of how my mom was. Donald Trump definitely has a filter, because I don't care if a camera was in my mom's face. She'd be like, fuck, but, bitch, fuck. You'd be bleeping everything out. And my mom, and if anybody were to dare say to my mom, well, you're not qualified to be a politician because look at, you have no filter. And my mom be like, bitch, aren't you an adult? Stop whining like a child and shut the fuck up. Again, that's how my mom was. My mom, I guarantee you right now, is rolling. She is looking down from heaven for wherever she's at. And she is like, what the hell is going on down there? What the hell is happening to the world? What the hell is going on with these weak ass bitches complaining about everything? You want something done for yourself. I love how these people, and I already know I'm going to piss people off with this. I already know I am. I don't mind the El Paso Strong thing because it was a tragedy. It was. But this is also Texas. Where are all the armed citizens of Texas? I know me, my other fellow veterans, military, country folk that I know, and a lot of my other, mostly Mexican, are all armed, concealed carry, open carry, because this is Texas. But I'm like, are y'all serious? Where are all the people with the guns that could have killed this guy within a minute? And this is what gets me. This whole no gun zone, gun-free zones. Gun-free zones make things more dangerous, not less dangerous. All the times that people have been mass shot were because they were gun-free zones. At least the majority of them, or all of them, if I'm thinking about it. Because nobody wants to go in a situation where people are going to be armed and shoot back. No, they're going into schools. They're going into malls because it's gun-free zones. That's why everybody's getting shot. This is Texas. I grew up where everyone had a gun. Everyone had a rifle, handgun, shotgun, both on the racks in the window, handgun on the seat. Everyone. And everybody drank. Everybody, especially in the country. Oh my God, my relatives. Everybody would get drunk. Everybody would drink. Everybody would get fucked up. Everybody would be fighting. Everybody be cursing each other out and be beating each other up. Nobody went and got their damn guns. Everybody be whipping everybody's ass and then getting a beer afterwards. And nobody shot anybody. But now there are all these gun-free zones and everybody is getting shot. What, are y'all really that stupid? Are y'all really that ignorant to not see what the coalition is? Coalition. Oh my God, I'm just so mad right now. I'm so mad because this is so stupid. You dumbass liberals, you stupid Democrats. The only thing I can think of to why y'all are either really this stupid or there's a motive, which is to unarm everybody. But this has been said since I was a kid. You take the legal guns away, the only people who are going to have guns are the criminals. I know this for a fact because, as I said, how I grew up. A lot of my Vietnamese, Korean friends, a lot of their relatives transported guns, imported illegal weapons, guns, blades, balisongs, anything you could want. There was one night, we were in Titustown, Norfolk, black neighborhood, but two Vietnamese restaurants. One that was kind of over here and the other one kind of over here that my friend's mom owned. And one of his relatives had just come in from overseas, and I was, kind of concerned because there were two parties going on at both these restaurants. Both Vietnamese parties going on that, we were at the one over here, and everybody's talking because, Vietnamese people, everybody all know each other and stuff. And I'm noticing, now mind you, every Friday, Saturday, even Sunday, on the corners at Titustown, right there, where the Burger King and the whatever gas station and everything, black people just hanging out, like literally just hanging out in the street corner. 30, 40, 50 of them just hanging out, drinking beer, whatever, just hanging out. That night, no black people at all. None. Like none. I was like, where the hell are the black people at? I mean, this is like, I grew up, as I said. So it was like, it was like, where the hell this is a first? There are no black people. Where the hell are all the black people? This is a black neighborhood. Where the hell are all the black? It was freaking us all out. And basically, something was kind of said to them as in, you start any trouble, there will be trouble, from the Vietnamese. And I turned around and told the friend, as I said, his cousin was like standing there. I didn't know he understood or spoke English really, but I turned around and said, hey, but, this is Titustown. These guys are armed. He turns around and goes, come here. He opens his trunk, and we're talking AKs. We're talking just trunk loaded with some of the weapons he had transported into the country illegally. He's like, no, they not do nothing. And I was like, but as I said, so for you people that want to be stupid and like, oh, we're going to take away all the guns. No, you're not. You are not going to take any of the guns from any of the people that have their guns illegally. You're not going to take their guns. That is beyond stupid to think. Seriously, they didn't buy the gun legally. They sure as hell didn't register the gun. So all you're going to do is just affect those of us who legally bought our stuff, went through all the background checks and the checks to see if you have, psychological issues and all the shit that you got to go through in order, fingerprinting to get my conceal, all that stuff that we got to go through. They're not doing any of that shit. So all you're going to do is take away the guns from those of us who have legally purchased them and registered them just so the criminals have all the weapons. Man, y'all are, oh my God, these politicians are dumber than dirt. Y'all are really, as I said, there's no way y'all could really be the draft horse with the blinders on, because if you were that stupid, what the hell are you doing in office? Let me see, AOC, Maxine Waters, yeah, so, because they had idiots that voted for them. Anyway, there's no such thing as the inequality of the sexes. There's no such thing, because there's no equality within men. There's no equality within women. You're going to have these weak little girls, and then you're going to have like women who are 5'9", 5'9" to 6'1", like cornbread, corn-fed. You're not going to, oh my God, I know a lot of country women. Rope, ride, hog tie, shoot, whip a guy's ass. So no, there's no inequality. The only inequality out there is the wall or the ceiling that's above you. There's a ceiling. No, there's not. The only ceiling that's above you is the one you put there. Because it's funny when these black people, these niggas, when these, dumbasses, all straight up Democrats, of course, Democrats as I call them, when you talk to people like us, we're like, what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, you don't know. I'm black too, dude. Well, I'm mixed, but I'm black too. And I guarantee you, I've dealt with more racism than you. And I've proven that point numerous times when I get conversation when I was in the military, basic training, and this situation came up where this whole racism bullshit came up. I'm kind of quickly going through the story. And I said that phrase, guarantee you I've dealt with more racism than you. Well, I'm black and I'm from Southside Chicago. And I'm like, yeah. And have you actually dealt with the Klan in their robes, burning the cross on your front lawn, painting on your front window, get out, nigger? Well, no. Yeah, because you probably grew up in a black neighborhood around other black people, around your black peers your entire life. So what racism do you have anything that compares to what and that's just one story that what I just said to you to compare to that. Well, I ain't got nothing. Then you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Shut up. Don't be talking racism if you don't even know what the hell real racism even is. And I'm not talking about somebody calling you a nigger once. Oh my God. Sticks and stones. Get over it. It's a word. It's a word that doesn't even pertain to you if you're not an ignorant person. The definition is an ignorant person. I've been called a nigger since the time I was like 3 years old. But look at that nigger baby. By white people being straight out publicly racist. Not this closet, unproven racist that y'all keep trying to say Donald Trump is. That you have no facts whatsoever. No proof whatsoever. My mom would usually whip their ass, but, whatever. And my mom would literally say, sticks and stones. It's just a word. Can't hurt you. It's just a word. Now, if somebody actually goes to fight you about that, then you fight back. Then you stand up for that. And the whole time basically telling them, I'm not a nigger. And yeah, there were plenty of times that I would whip somebody's ass and the whole time basically saying, I didn't want to fight in the first place. I didn't want to fight. I don't like to fight. I'm a sociopath. So I kind of have a switch in my head that will go a little too far. So I do everything I can to not fight in the first place. There have been plenty of times that people have said, Mark, we think you're fucking psycho. And I'm like, why? And they were like, man, during the whole time you're whipping that dude's ass, you're literally like talking calmly to him. As you're like pounding his head on the sidewalk, you're talking calmly to him. It's like, man, that's some psycho shit. And I'm like, no, I'm just basically telling him I didn't want to fight you. You made me do this. Which was true. There was no anger. There was no malice involved on my end. I didn't want to fight in the first place. And even after I whipped their ass, it's like, hey, well, can we be friends again? Or can we be friends? John Katz, who I whipped his ass when we were kids on his front lawn after dragging him out of his mom's house and shit. We were friends. And it was all over over a girl. Just dumb shit. Just dumb teenage bullshit. Beat the hell out of his ass and was like, well, can we be friends again? We've never been friends since. And it was all again over a girl. Stupid. Just dumb. But again, there's no such thing as inequality. As I said, just among men, the things that make men special is you got, or your family, got money. You basically are a big person like my son. Kids respected my son when he was going to school because he was bigger than all of them. There was one time that two boys tried to fight him. Cedric didn't fight. He literally, and this is from the teachers that were witnesses, and of course the other kids that we knew in the neighborhood, like, oh my God, Cedric whipped their ass, but didn't actually whip their ass. I had already taught Cedric basically Aikido at that point. And they kept coming at him and he just whoop, Steven Seagal their ass, just whoop. He just throw them. And I mean, he was bigger than them anyway, but he would sidestep and just throw them. And they ended up getting hurt. They ended up getting hurt pretty bad just from him defending himself. And a teacher kind of comes out afterwards, and he almost got in trouble. Almost. Because that teacher was like, oh, you're going to get suspended. All the students that were there were like, hey, they started it. They attacked him. But it was confusing to her mind, for one, Cedric being bigger than them, and they're the ones beat up while Cedric's just sitting there. He's just standing there. And she was like, well, why are they hurt and he's not? And Cedric goes, because my dad taught me how to defend myself. That was it. And the teacher still was arguing and fighting until another teacher who witnessed it came up and said, no, it happened exactly the way they said it. I saw it happen. They attacked him. He threw them off. They kept coming at him. He kept throwing them away. They got hurt. He didn't. He defended himself. I told when I went to the school to, of course, still deal with the situation, I turned around and I told the teacher, because I was, part of the PTA, I went and had a conversation with that teacher. If you had gotten my son expelled, you would have been sued immediately. Because I would have been like, are you serious? You're going to tell my son that he can't defend himself? They were supposed to what? He was supposed to let them beat him up? Is that what you're saying? I was like, woman, you would be out of a job. And because I was on a first name basis with the superintendent. I was like, so you'd be out of a job and I would still be suing you on top of that. But yeah, we're not all created equal. How I told the story about my childhood. I had to prove myself to the bigger kids when I was a kid. There was no special treatment for me. We all get a trophy and oh my God, Terry, you could have let Mark play with you guys. No, there was none of that. I had to actually prove myself. I had to be out there proving myself to my brother and his friends. They were third grade, one of his friends after school, one of his friends for some dumb reason was picking on me, and Terry allowed it. Real weird. I don't understand this one. But Terry allowed it, his friend picking on me, and I just laid this kid out. Kid twice my size. And I just laid him out. One punch. Nobody messed with me after that. But I was a smaller kid. This was a third grader, and I was what, first grade? Yeah, this was a third grader. I was first grade. Kid, basically twice my size, one punch laid him out. Nobody messed with me after that. Which I think is probably why my brother was doing that. It's like, Mark, you can fight, defend yourself. Which in my mind was like, the kid's still bigger than me kind of thing. But I proved my point. Never mess with me again. Nobody did after that. So again, there's no inequality. The only inequality out there is the barriers you put amongst yourself. Now, mind you, there could be things like you really aren't as smart, so you work harder. That's what you do. A lot of the kids in the city of El Paso weren't as intelligent as Cedric. He was a part of the GT program, which I was on that council for the city of El Paso. He was one of the rare kids a part of the GT council here in El Paso. Did that all of a sudden, oh my God, it's inequality to everybody else that's in the city? No. Just naturally smarter. That's genetics. Naturally bigger, naturally stronger. That's just genetics. So yes, there are things that would be considered inequality, like genetics is one of them. But for a job, like say teaching, there's no inequality there unless you're just a complete dumbass. If you're going to be a doctor, of course, it's going to be based on intelligence. So again, it's going to be most of it. It's going to be based on intelligence. It's going to be based on genetics. Somebody wants to be a firefighter. You're going to have to work out. You have to exercise because you got to lift a certain amount of poundage. So they started changing the rules for women. I was a little pissed about that because I already knew women who were police officers. I already knew women who were fire department. They were even pissed. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. We didn't get that special treatment. Well, because the rules were no. We didn't care about that. There were no special rules for us. We earned that right to be here. Now y'all want to change the rules to have weaker women be in a position, in a job that we had to work for? Those women were pissed. I'm telling you, man, this bullshit about women's inequality and crap, those women who I know who know that this is straight up bullshit, y'all seriously need to come out swinging, verbally swinging, laying down the law, going, no, Kim Kardashian, all you bitches, Miley Cyrus, all you bitches, everybody share, everybody, Madonna, everybody, shut the fuck up. There's no such thing as inequality. You want to get it? Earn it. If you're too small to get it, sorry. You're not as intelligent to get it? Sorry. That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the real world. That's my problem with this bullshit. You people not wanting to live in the real world. That is my problem with this. As I said, suicide rate amongst young people is extremely high. One of my ex-wife's bosses at Thermotech, can't think of her, Susan, I think was her name. Her two young children, both graduated high school, both, we're talking, extremely intelligent, but sheltered, church sheltered, as in they couldn't even watch the TV they wanted to watch. And they were already adults, 17, 18. And they, this is my house, you're not watching. I mean, they were sheltered, hardcore sheltered. When I found out about that, and this was knowing them when they were still, like, we're talking about 3-4 years away from becoming adults. And I told my wife, I said, this is going to go bad. This is not going to go good. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, they're sheltered this bad. You do realize once you are out of this private school, high school bullshit, which is not the real world, they're going to come crashing down hard. Real life is going to punch them in the face. Real life is going to hit them with a baseball bat. That's what's going to happen. And sure enough, both kids, son and the daughter, attempted suicide. Both of them. Because exactly what I said. They got out there in the real world and were like, what is this? Because they both went away to college. And I was like, oh my God, that's even worse. We're not talking about staying here in El Paso and going to UTEP. No, they went away to college. And I was like, oh my God. That was the dumbest thing she could do. I said, Cindy, you better fucking warn her that her kids are going to commit, or they're going to attempt suicide. And Mark, I can't say that. I said, it's going to happen. Guarantee it 100%. And sure enough, they both did. They both attempted suicide because the real world hit them over the head with a damn baseball bat. Y'all are weakening this society. Y'all are weakening the United States. The pussification of America was only a theory by George Carlin. And it's already come to pass. It has already come to pass, all because of you dumbass fucking liberals, you stupid Democrats, making everyone weaker. You are setting our country up for a takeover. And it'll be somebody like China that's going to do it. I mean, China threatened Russia. I mean, didn't y'all know that? One of the reasons why Putin was elected, seriously, this was all over the news. China literally told Russia, get your shit straight or we're going to fucking come over there and get you guys back on track. That's when Putin got elected. So, yeah, we weaken a little too much It ain't going to be the Muslims, because China doesn't like Muslims, period. They don't. They actually have the whole re-education process for Chinese who become Muslim that they find out about in China. They have straight up re-education programs. China is hardcore. You think the most powerful nation on this planet, you truly think that China is going to allow Muslims to take over the most powerful country on this planet? No, they're not going to allow that shit. So, yeah, if shit really, really hits the fan, I hope that I don't know, I'm a two-parter on this. I hope that I'm either gone by then, so I don't have to, I'll be watching. I'm pagan. You know, so I'll be watching as a poltergeist, watching going, I warned you dumbasses. Either that, or in some ways, I hope I'm still alive just so I can go on social media and go, I told you dumbasses so. Now, oh my God, we're being invaded. Oh my God, look what's happening. Warned you. Like, and I've had people, well, Mark, what would you do? I'd be like, hey, I knew you guys were eventually going to invade. I knew it. So, hey, I'm on your side. I'm not weak like these dumbasses over here that you want to backhand and slap around. As a matter of fact, can I help you out? I want to go ahead and backhand a lot of these little bitches out here who basically ruin the country. I'm telling y'all. And there's another gentleman. I got to post that video in another one of my videos, which will be shorter than this one because I really kind of way off not really off subject, but went way too long. I mean, I love to talk. I mean, I'm one of those people that you want to talk. When growing up as a kid, or even dealing with racist or whatever, as a kid, I'd be like, hey, let's talk. I ain't going to talk to a nigger. Why? For one, nigger is an ignorant person, and I guarantee you I'm more intelligent than you. You know, it's like, I had no problem telling people off. None. Because my mom, straight up, I had an older brother that would whip everybody. If I couldn't beat you, my older brother would. Either that or my mom will kind of take care of things in her own way. So I didn't fear anybody. So, yeah, I had people call me names and say whatever and stuff. The only people that could get away with it were family. That was it. But other than that, nobody really had the balls to really do anything. Because as I said, if I couldn't beat you, my brother would, or my mom would take care of it in her own special way. And you usually didn't like that. It was one, I'll get my daddy. Yeah, okay. And let my mom go and fuck your dad up. And if she don't do it, which my mom never lost a fight, if she don't do it, she'll probably get one of her special cop friends to come work you over, or one of her Hell's Angel friends to come work you over. So never had a problem growing up, ever. But then again, yes, somebody could say, Mark, you got special treatment. But the thing is, technically, no, I didn't, because if I ever started anything, it would come back to bite me in the ass. So I knew better. My mom was like, just because you can get away with things doesn't mean that you're going to go out there and get away with shit. Because if I find out about it, trust me. Me and my older brother got into a fight once. I beat his ass, but we got into this fight that spilt over out in the front yard. Neighbors called the cops. Cops showed up and they were like, wait a minute, you're Mary Brown's boys. Oh, hell no. We ain't going to take y'all in. We're calling your mom. And mom was at work. And mom didn't like being bothered, period. We were like, no, take us in. And they were like, no, call Mary Brown. Call her. And mom showed up and whipped. Oh, mom beat the fuck out of us in the front yard. The cops were on their cars just laughing their asses off. So, yeah, y'all want to know how we grew up? The reason why I'm the way I am, the way I'm so passionate, the way I'm, as people call me, an asshole and a dick because of the way I am, and I am a Trump supporter. Yeah, let one of you little Antifa bitches get in my face. I'm always armed. As I said, I'm 6'1", over 260. And I'm always armed. So seriously, blades, Texas now legalized that I can carry a fucking sword anyway, and I collect swords. And I've got my guns. Let one of these Antifa dumbasses get in my face. I will smash you. I will try to talk you out of it because it's like, no, dude, I will hurt you. Back up. But if you continue, and I've worked security. I've worked security many times. So, and a martial artist, army, security, lots of training. I will break you. There have been people, I own a karaoke company, and there have been dumbasses thinking, oh, he's just a karaoke guy. Yeah, but I'm still 6'1", over 260. How dumb could you be? And I've had dumbasses, including military, because I was already a vet at this point, thinking of this one incident when I was running my karaoke show at Aaron's on the west side, and active duty military, and they're all drunk. I'm trying to talk them out of, I wasn't even working security. I was friends with the security, of course, but one of the security guys, little white guy, but he was a good fighter, pretty good, but he got in a chokehold. He was turning purple. I went up behind the guy, tapping him on the shoulder. I said, hey, you need to let him go. And he's choking, and I was like, seriously, you need to let him go. He's like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, for one, I'm towering over this guy because he's thinking he's Army. And I'm sitting here going, dude, maybe I should warn him. So I'm like, for one, I'm a vet. Two, grew up in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm a military brat on top of that. And let's just say I will hurt you. Let him go. And he didn't. So grabbed the pressure point in his elbow, grabbed the pressure point on his shoulder, and just basically squeezed. That's all I had to do. Twisted his arm, twisted it behind his back, locked my arm in with one arm, and was like, you done? You done? And he kept trying to fight, and I kept slamming his head on the pool table going, dude, you do realize all I got to do is just straighten my arm, and I will dislocate your shoulder. It's like, seriously, you going to stop resisting? And I still hadn't told them little key things here. My wife, who's also a vet, Navy veteran, worked on post, worked literally under the commander of Fort Bliss, within the chain of the command of Fort Bliss. She could have stopped everything also, but no, these guys were being idiots. They needed to be taught a lesson. His buddies are behind me, and I can see them out of the corner of my eye. They're behind me. I look behind me like this going, y'all going to be stupid enough to come up on me. You better look behind you. And it's like my gang friends, my biker friends, standing behind them going, you go near him, we will fuck you up. So they all kind of back up. I tell the kid, I said, look, let me tell you something that I really should have said maybe at the beginning of this. I am a vet. I've got colonels, majors, captains on speed dial because I also work a lot of stuff on Fort Bliss. You see my wife over there? She works literally under the chain of the command on Fort Bliss. One phone call, all of you are going in the brig and probably will get pay docked. I was like, man, there's a whole bunch of shit that will happen to you. That stopped immediately. Everything. One of the black Army guys turns around and goes, what? Why didn't you say something at the beginning? Why didn't you say something? And I'm like, oh, so if I was like, y'all are the ones that were dumbasses. Y'all were the ones that were being stupid. I kept trying to warn you. Even the security tried to keep, hey, y'all need to calm down. Y'all need to chill out. Y'all were the ones still being stupid. I gave y'all all the chances to stop what y'all were doing, but you didn't. So why am I going to turn around and literally say the one thing? And see, now, mind you, as I said, I grew up a military brat. And because of my mom and things, and my dad and things like that, I knew captains, admirals, and things back home in the Navy. So when military back home used to get out of trouble, I could turn around and go, you see this number right here? This is an admiral's number. It's like, this is what old cell phones and shit, but whatever. It's like, are y'all serious? It's like, man, I could make one phone call and y'all will seriously be in trouble. and everything would be like, all right, we stop it. Because military, they own you. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people who are just so stupid, especially civilians. The paperwork that we sign when we join the military is legalized slavery. It's pretty much the simplest way I could put it. And I mean legalized slavery for the rest of our lives. When we get out, quote unquote, get out, we're never officially out. The military can recall us at any point, at any time. When we sign that paper to join the military, it is legalized slavery. They own us basically for the rest of our lives. So, yeah, military, when they find out that they about to get screwed up, so if you're smart, that is, because you have some dumbasses. But if you're smart, yeah, you're like, all right. I'm not going to be sitting there going to the brig. I'm not going to be going to, Leavenworth. I'm not going to be going, to a federal prison, and everything because I'm a dumbass over a drunken fight. That they probably would get their asses whipped anyway. Because the civilians back home in Norfolk weren't, I would tell people I'm a Navy brat. This is, of course, when I was still, young. It's like I'm a Navy brat, so I'm not a pure civilian. So you shut up with that shit. And even my friends who were civilians, pretty much all my friends I grew up with were all martial artists, all actual combat, gang related. So it's like, yeah, they're civilians and you're military, and they're probably still gonna whip your ass, which yeah, pretty much. But anyway, as I said, the video went on way too damn long. I really, really, really should get scripted to where I could just keep them to around 20, 30 minutes. Or just do parts, like 1 part, 2 part, that kind of thing, I really should do that so I can keep them under, that's probably what I'll start doing from now on. I'll just start keeping them around. Once they get around like 28 minutes, it's like, all right, I'm going to break up this video right now so it stays around that 30-minute mark, but I'll pick this up in part 2. So that's what I'm going to do from now on. But my next video is going to be based on this black gentleman. Man, I happened to see his video. It popped up on my feed, and I was like, dude, oh man, that man was badass. His video is about 23, 24 minutes long. And man, you think I'm hardcore, in what I've been saying in this video. No, that man straight up cursing F this, F that, nigga this, man. Oh man. As I said, it's going to be a good video. But I will talk to y'all later. Peace out. Love y'all.